Welcome everyone to the 7th round of the Unlimited Racing 2D Championship, Season 4. We're here in the home of German Motorsport in Nürburgring. But before I start, a little disclaimer. I did qualifying. Qualifying happened. Carlos Sainz got pole. One lap into the race and then we had some technical issues. So qualifying's already been done. We're just going to be skipping into the Grand Prix. Anyways, if you missed us last time out, George Russell actually got his first win of the season. So important. Closes the gap between himself and Charles Leclerc. Verstappen, he's going to be in a really close battle with Daniel Ricciardo. Carlos Sainz and Esteban Ocon, don't be expected those two nip in as well. Bottas on the same points as Gasly, but obviously Bottas is great P3 with Norris and Perez around the top 10. Albon P11, Giovinazzi got his first podium of his career, last time out in Austria P12. Schumacher P13, Hulkenberg P14, Ilott P15, Stroll P16 in the championship, Piastri P17, Magnussen P18, Tsunoda P19 and Max P20. Teams wise, just like the last 2 years, Alpine they're first. However, Alfa Romeo and Red Bull have made significant gains. Mercedes they're fourth, with McLaren fifth. Williams, they're going to have their hands full fighting Force India, especially now that Force India is rapid with the new owners and the new upgrades. Ferrari 8th, Haas 9th, and AlphaTauri 10th. Anyways, let's get into the Grand Prix. Sainz, as I said, he managed to get pole position with Antonio Giovinazzi. Crazy lap for him to get P2. Anyways, George Russell on hards, P3. Anyways, lights out and away we go here. In the Nürburgring, Sainz, he gets away well. Covers off the inside. Giovinazzi trying to keep it. However, Max Verstappen just drives round the outside of the Force India. Giovinazzi takes that position back. However, the two Mercedes squabbling down, going into the hairpin. The first sector is complete, and Carlos Sainz has the lead to Antonio Giovinazzi. Then Pierre Gasly, who's had a really good start. Lando Norris and George Russell fighting with Max Verstappen. They sandwich him going into the final corner. Up front though, it looks like Giovinazzi's got a really bad exit. Pierre Gasly's gone down the inside of Giovinazzi and Sainz. Pierre Gasly now has the lead, but for how long? That's the question. Sainz is going to try and fight back. Gasly's looking really confident on the brakes, I must say today. And Norris fighting George Russell. George Russell, remember, started on the hards. Max Verstappen started on the hards last race. We saw that did not work well at all. Carlos Sainz though, he has the lead, but for how long? Giovinazzi once again struggling off the final corner. Now Max Verstappen's eaten him, going down into turn 1. The gap at the top though, it's closing. However, Giovinazzi bullies Verstappen off the track. How often do you see that? The last 2 races, Giovinazzi's been driving with so much confidence. Nearly as much confidence as Pierre Gasly on the brakes. However, as I say that, Max Verstappen's all over his tail. He's going to go around the outside. Does he get the move done? Yes, he does. However, George Russell now gets past Antonio Giovinazzi, and now we want some of Max Verstappen. Oh, Giovinazzi's messed up. He's messed up the pit entry. Disaster for Antonio Giovinazzi. He comes out and he's still behind Carlos Sainz, but because of George Russell overtaking him in the least ideal spot. He tried to pit and it just did not work, and now he's going to have to go a full lap on no tyres. I really feel for Antonio Giovinazzi. That's the same thing that happened to Daniel Ricciardo, I think, around Monaco. Anyways, the race leader now, Carlos Sainz, after the first round of stops. Will George Russell pit now? Yeah, he does. And it's an Alfa Romeo 1-2 because of Antonio Giovinazzi's misfortune. Pierre Gasly P3, P4, who's it going to be? Lando Norris. If he can finish P4, I'm sure the McLaren team will be so happy with that. George Russell, though, is going to be really quick. Pierre Gasly, he's on the hard tyres, if nobody realised. Antonio Giovinazzi, though, P13. He was running P3. He'd just been overtaken by George Russell, but that was terrible luck for the Italian. Leclerc battling with Alex Albon. I'm sure he'd rather be battling at the front with Carlos Sainz than for 8th and 9th with Alexander Albon. What can Valtteri Bottas do? He's slowly gaining on Esteban Ocon. Right now, we're going through that phase where the drivers are just looking after the tyres. Teams are thinking about the strategy. Leclerc, though, has got a really good exit. Further up top, though, George Russell's going to try and get the move down on Lando. Round the outside. That really emphasizes how much more grip George Russell has than Lando Norris. Norris is boxing. George Russell will take second. Yeah, he does. Pierre Gasly, don't forget, he pitted and then he came out onto the hard tyres. Although Carlos Sainz has managed to get P1 back, honestly, those Alfa Romeos around this circuit are looking really quick. Lando Norris going down the inside of Bottas at the hairpin, gets the move done. Bottas uses some errors but can't get him back. Oh, can he? Do the Schumacher S? No. Norris keeps his P7 for now. He's much faster than Charles Leclerc. And what happened to Antonio Giovinazzi has now happened to Charles Leclerc. So Leclerc is going to have to go an extra lap on worn tyres. Norris, though, battling with Russell, his British companion. But Russell wins that. Charles Leclerc, though, the same thing that's happened to Antonio Giovinazzi now has happened to Charles Leclerc. Norris gets past George Russell. And Russell takes that position back. Up front, Carlos Sainz. He has some traffic. This weekend, the Alfa Romeos look rapid, honestly. And this is not the first time, this is like the second time in 2 races that Alpine would have had a really disappointing result. Charles Leclerc now running P9. He's on the hard, so I think he could just make it to the end of the race. George Russell just stopping some drivers. We saw someone in. Who was that? Carlos Sainz is in. Oh, he's going to come out just behind George Russell. The plan, I'm sure, was to get out ahead of George Russell. Max Verstappen's on the hard. But right now, this is the most important battle on track, and Sainz dispatches Russell very quickly. Verstappen and Gasly, they're on wearing tyres. Gasly's going to go around the outside of Max Verstappen. Oh, just about. Nearly made the move work. But just about messed up right at the end. Honestly, Carlos Sainz looks to be favourite to win this Grand Prix. Verstappen comes out P2. He's come out on hards. Gasly's gone aggressive on the softs. So this is going to be interesting. Which tyre at the moment's better? Obviously, initially, it will have to go to the softs. But with a few laps to go, I'm talking about lap 13, lap 14, lap 15. You know, is that when the softs fall off the cliff? I guess we'll find out in a few laps' time. Carlos Sainz is getting held up by Callum Ilott. Gasly knows Verstappen is going to try the move. Look at how much later Max Verstappen can brake, though. If Gasly wants this strategy to work, he's going to have to push, and he's going to have to challenge for P1. Verstappen round the outside! No, not yet. Verstappen once again, this time he's going to go down the inside. Stroll gets involved, and that's actually going to damper Pierre Gasly's chances. It's an Alfa Romeo 1-2. Can Alfa Romeo be the second team in history to get to 1-2? Alpine obviously being the one and only team. Red Bull had the opportunity at Silverstone, but just about missed the opportunity. Going through the long turn 2 and turn 3. But no, you can't get him. Now, I said around lap 13, 14, 15. This is when the tyres are going to fall. And if Pierre Gasly is beginning to struggle, I don't see, anything different happening with George Russell. The gap though between Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz has seriously closed down. Will Carlos Sainz try to win this Grand Prix? Or have Alfa Romeo got some team orders? This is going to be close between the two teammates, or will they actually take each other out? Sainz, remember, his tyres are 1 lap older than Max Verstappen. If Verstappen wants to get the move done, I think he's going to have to go around the outside now. He's going to try. The same place where he got Pierre Gasly is the same place where he gets his teammate Carlos Sainz. He takes back the lead of the Grand Prix. Further back, it looks like George Russell's now beginning to gain on Pierre Gasly. And already you can see on the timing board, now that Max Verstappen's finally managed to get the move done, the gap between Verstappen and Sainz, 2.5 seconds. Okay, now it's gone to 1.7, but it was 2.5 seconds. 3 seconds now. Now, this is going to be tense. If you're in the Mercedes garage, look away. Because this is going to be very tense. Will Pierre Gasly just about take P3? Look at how much he's sliding. Russell using something else to get ahead. Gasly for the hairpin. Gasly gets pushed off the track. He gets pushed off the track by George Russell. And I think Esteban Ocon will have him now. Ocon gets past his teammate. Will he get past George Russell? It's going to be close. But anyways, our race winner for today is Max Verstappen. P2, Carlos Sainz. But P3, Esteban Ocon. It looks like he's going to take P3. That drive came from nowhere. Esteban Ocon finishes off the podium. P4, George Russell. P5, Pierre Gasly. P6, Lando Norris. What a drive from Lando. He's always loved Nürburgring, and he showed that today. Valtteri Bottas, P7. Charles Leclerc. Oh, will it be Leclerc or will it be Perez? It's Perez who takes P8. So Charles Leclerc has finished P9. I actually think that's his worst result ever. Charles Leclerc. And it all started from the mess up in the pit lanes. That's what happened to Antonio Giovinazzi as well. Those two were up for it. Potential race winning candidates. But because of the pit entry, just ruined their race, like what happened to Daniel Ricciardo last time out. Anyways, Oscar Piastri finishing off the top 10 and beating his teammate Antonio Giovinazzi. Alex Albon P11, Daniel Ricciardo P12, Giovinazzi P13, Mick Schumacher P14, Lance Stroll P15, Yuki Tsunoda P16, Callum Ilott P17, Nikita Mazepin P18, with Hülkenberg and Magnussen in 19th and 20th. So team-wise, here's how it looks. Charles Leclerc's horrendous race weekend now means that the gap between Leclerc and Verstappen, who's now gone up, he's overtaken George Russell for P2, is now 11 points. This is the closest, excluding race number 1, that the championship has been. George Russell falling slightly back to Max Verstappen, with Carlos Sainz just losing the race win in the dying embers of the Grand Prix. Daniel Ricciardo 5th, 2 points ahead of Esteban Ocon, who's had a phenomenal season, honestly. He's been that number 1 driver at Mercedes. people are always saying Pierre Gasly's number one. However, the first half of the season shows that Esteban Ocon has been the better driver. Valtteri Bottas P8, Lando Norris P9, and Sergio Perez finishing off the top 10. Alex Albon P11, Giovinazzi, I think he goes up 1, and expect him to only be going up this season, by the way. That Force India, is rapid. Schumacher P13, Hulkenberg P14, a point ahead of Callum Ilott, who's a point ahead of Oscar Piastri, who's a point ahead of Lance Stroll. Kevin Magnussen P18, Yuki Tsunoda P19, and Nikita Mazepin P20. Constructors wise now, Alpine still lead despite that horrendous race weekend that they've just had. However, there's a change. At 3rd and 4th, Mercedes now back ahead of Red Bull. That's going to be a really close battle. Not for 1st and 2nd, but for 3rd and 4th. McLaren 40 odd points ahead of Williams. I said that their nearest rival is going to be Force India. However, this race has really, helped their cause, staying ahead of Force India. Ferrari and Haas are split 6 points with AlphaTauri in last. Thank you for being with me for the first half of this season. Second half, Belgium. We'll start off the second half of the season. It's going to be so exciting. Then we go to Netherlands, Assen, France, where we go to Le Mans, Italy, where we go obviously to Monza, Japan to Suzuka, Malaysia to Sepang, Australia to Albert Park, and then last but not least, Brazil, Sao Paulo. Thank you for being with me, and I can't wait to see you next time at Belgium. Thank you and goodbye.